Welcome back, everybody. This is Brothermutant here. We're continuing our journey to complete the Wizard's Apprentice, Chapter 2, the Talisman the Eye. If you recall, we left off getting ready to go whoop up on some kind of cave troll. Where the hell did it disappear to? There's the bones of what he was feasting on. Must be up and over here somewhere. But before we get started, first I'm going to change some of her settings and come back to that here in a moment. So I'm going to cut this part out because I want to make sure that she's not using things. Plus, I need to apologize to her because I made the mistake of saying that she was throwing stuff, and she was. However, when I went and looked at the original playthrough, after uploading it, of course, like I always do, I noticed that she was not throwing anything at the time. Now, of course, she will. You know, Cloud Kill was the move that I was saying that she was probably doing, or something like Cloud Bewilderment or something like that. Turns out that it was the spores from the little myconoid bastards that were chucking it on her. So it was not her fault. She had used all the ones I gave her, though. So I do want to reset her settings. I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll be right back. We've talked enough. It is time to get into the actual fun part of the game, which is obliterating stuff with spells. I have buffed up, as you see. I have good things on my characters. We are ready to rock and or roll.
Yes.
One other thing I will say that I did fix. I took her helmet off. For some reason I had that she was white-haired, because I was actually looking at his picture for some silly-ass reason. I took her helmet off, saw it was blonde, and I switched her to this blonde character here. And she looks more like she probably should have.
Yes.
So you'll notice that that has changed a little. There's some ice crystals. Okay, so we have these ice crystals up here, and we got a big-ass hogging monster up here. You'll notice that I even put ghostly visage on him. And for those of you that didn't see it, right here, the Rod of the Ghost I actually purchased for him. A very useful item, if it lets me show it to you. Yeah, Ghostly Visage 3, 1 use per day. Doesn't last forever, but it'll be enough to get him to suck up some damage if he need be. Okay, so we got, in the darkness you see a large two-headed form. An Arctic fell troll. I have seen a monster such as this rip a polar bear in half. We must have a plan if we are to defeat this foe. Intelligence. You think of your options and look around the room for something to use against the troll. Your gaze rises to the cavern roof and you see great icicles. Boom. A well-placed spell or shot could damage them enough to bring them down. Spot failure. Who's spot failure? Oh, I guess it gave us choices of spotting the crystals or intelligence roll. Fortunately, we're smarty pants, so we got the intelligence roll. So that's good. We already knew that that was kind of what was going to happen, though. I mean, I got the XP, and that was more important for me than anything, really. We knew that we were going to zap this little bastard because we were told by our clairaudience, clairvoyance, that the big hog and something or other protecting the exit out of these caverns, which apparently is this snowdrift thing over here, had something in the, above him in the ceiling, right? So that was cracks or weaknesses. So we're gonna hit that, I think. Come on. Why are you doing that? Can you not reach it? Maybe because you can't see it. It's getting a little annoying there, kid. Come on. There we go. Alright, everybody.
Time to finish this.
Exactly. You notice also I brought his pet back out. I figured we might need him. And since he is going to be our meat shield of awesomeness.
Yes.
I'm tired of you just sitting around there, kid. Get your butt over here. Alright. Yeah. Wow, we got him badly wounded, but he's just whooping up on him too, man. Go Blizzard. I like magic missile, as you guys know. And you know what, we have a troll. So the problems with trolls are they are immortal, unless you do acid/fire damage on the last hit, right? Fortunately, Bladrig has himself a magic fire weapon. Otherwise, he would have taken a knee and acquired an item. See, sensing latent magical energy in the course of the huge troll, you take its hands for further study. Ew, dude. I got Arctic fell troll. Oh, latent magical energy. Poo! I can use magic poo on it. Alright, sensing latent magical energy in the course of the huge troll, you take its hands for further study. Continue. Bladrig sets up a fire in the cave. Now that the huge monster is dead, this will be a safe place to rest. Good with that. After you rest, you realize this would be a safe place to get to know your companions a little better and discuss the events of your escape with them. I really need to talk to my companions more, too. You also realize you will have to spend several hours clearing the snow from the cavern entrance. Rest up. As Ayala warms herself by the fire, Bladrig remains standing at the edge of the firelight, intent on the dark tunnels you recently passed through. So is this part of the romance section of this game? I hear you could romance either of them depending on sex. Of course, heteronormative romancing, so no girl-on-girl action, guys. Sorry. He is kind of a troll, too. He's like, a charisma of like 8. That doesn't mean he's ugly. It just means he sucks at social skills, so I guess I relate to him a little more. Do I want to stay by the fire, go to the barbarian? At the very least, we should be nice to the guy. I'm not saying I'm going to put out or nothing, but he did help. Hey, buddy, you alright over there? You're sulking in the corner. Bladrig does not seem to notice your approach, but you have learned enough about the alert barbarian to know he is aware of your presence. What are you doing out here? After a long moment, Bladrig speaks. I am listening for what the darkness has to say to me. And what does it tell you? Creatures still roam these caverns, but they are small. Our presence here has disturbed the balance of this cavern, and soon other large creatures will take the place of the ones we have killed. It's the way of the world, buddy. However, as long as the scent of the troll remains in this chamber, no creatures will venture near. It is safe for many weeks. And even if it wasn't, I would feel secure in the combination of your stealing with my magic. As would I, with such a capable woman by my side. Ah, look at that. I'm a woman by his side. Remember, this is not what I normally look like, dude. I'm a little short midget person. But he shifts his weight to stand closer to you so that his hand brushes yours slightly. What we got here? Romance status is now neutral. 3 of 25. He begins to say something further when he notices Ayala watching from the campfire. We should return to the fire and prepare for tomorrow. We have not reached safety yet. That's a good point. The two of you return to the campfire in silence. Stop spying on me. It's mine. The two of you return to the campfire in silence. Bladrig breaks the awkward silence. I am interested to know how the Lady Elk Dancer came to reside in the prison cell of the Dark Seeker. Yeah, me too. It was during the annual running of the elk. My brothers and I were out hunting. Running of the elk? What's that? Lore. Running of the elk. I seem to recall it as a ceremony celebrating the change of seasons in preparation for the coming winter. Ayala is impressed with your knowledge of her people. Yes, that is correct. My reputation is now friendly with Ayala. Go on. On the 10th and greatest day of the celebration is the hunt. I was out with my brothers and we were tracking a magnificent buck. They don't call elks bucks, guys. They call them bulls. It's fine. Whatever. It's bull elk and cow elk. They're larger than deer. Anyway, that's how it goes. When we came across a merchant caravan beset by brigands and orcs. Ooh, brigands and orcs, you say. Normally it is our custom not to interfere in the affairs of the Southerners. But when I heard the wailing of children coming from the wagons, I could not turn away. Go on. With our help, the caravan guards were able to drive off the raiders. That was when we realized the cries were not from the merchant's children, but from slaves. We had just rescued a caravan of slavers. The slaver guards turned on my brothers and I. I am enraged by the betrayal. My brothers killed a half dozen of the guards in the first minute of combat. Seeing that they were outmatched, the slavers fled on their horses, leaving their wagons behind. You turn to see Bladrig's face cloud with anger, and you consider the ruin that would befall these slavers if ever they crossed Bladrig's path. Yeah, we're gonna whoop up on some slavers if they come near us. There's one fled by me. He knocked me on the head with his mace and scooped me up onto his horse. When I awoke, I was imprisoned in the cell in the Dark Seeker's tower. It would give me great pleasure to meet these slavers on the road and discuss their treatment of you. How would I know them if I saw them? Their leader. He wore an outlandish plumed hat. You cannot miss it. Oh, we had that doofus book that said he was a duelist or a swashbuckler. If you remember from several episodes ago, we read a book talking about how to use your sword, the pointy end, the one end, the 3 rules of swordsmanship. I wonder if that was their leader. Reputation is getting better. And then we got a journal update. After a brief pause, Blairdig changes the subject. How did you come to possess the key to the main door to the tower while you were captive? Yeah, that's a good question. How did you have the key to escape and never escaped? I'll smile slyly. I befriended the guards that were sent to bring me my food and drink. After a few days, they barely watched me, and I didn't notice as I lifted the key ring from one of their belts. Dumbasses. That's not all I took from the Darkseeker's tower. She holds up a small metallic loop with handles on either side, dangling from a leather strap. The metal gleams, and you recognize it as adamantine. You feel the magical energy pulsing and radiating from the object. Remembering that Blairdig can sense arcane energy, you look over at him. It is powerful, Untitled. You should carry this object. Only one trained in the arcane art should hold it. I sense that its power is dangerous. As you accept the pendant, no, it is larger than a pendant, more a talisman. Oh, the talisman in the eye. As you accept the talisman from Ayala, it flashes and glows with an inner light, as though recognizing that you possess the power to wield it. The thought is encouraging, except that you have no idea what it does. Yeah? You sense that an event of great significance has just transpired and spend long minutes considering the object. Your companions soon turn to their own conversation and eventually drift off to sleep, leaving you to consider the talisman and what it could possibly be. Let's rest. After resting, you spend several hours digging out the snowdrift. Finally, the exit lies open before you. Continue. Alright. Let's see here. Mysterious talisman. This is a mysterious talisman Ayala took from the chamber of the Darkseeker during your escape. You sense its strong arcane power, but are unsure of its intended purpose. You also wonder if the Darkseeker will notice it. And bet he'll notice. Maybe we should save before we do something stupid. And I still have my Arctic Fell Troll hands. These are the hands of the slain Arctic Fell Troll that you encountered in the tunnels beneath the Valley of the Darkseeker. You detect latent magical energy in them. Which time for poo. Where's my poo bag? Alright, so one of the other things I did check. I knew there was something else that I was going to forget. And I wanted to make sure to tell you guys. One of the things I did check was, I mentioned the other day about my gear not having the right amount of stuff, I thought. Turns out I was mistaken. I did check it. It is fine. It does do, like I said, if you overshoot past this spot, it saves it down here. You just don't see it and you can't access it. You have to make room, click that button, and whoop, it zips back up. The reason I thought I was missing items is because some of those items were automatically added when I said download everything to things like potions, healing kits, and stuff like that, just all merged together. So that's why it looked like I had less. It turns out I did not. So everything is fine. You don't have to worry about that. I do have these now gauntlets that are unidentified, and before I use my rod of identification, which of course is the way to go, I have a potion of lore, and I'm thinking that I'd rather use that if at all possible. Really? Screw you guys. Okay. These potions of lore are a piece of piss. But we do have the rod of identification, so I guess that's fine. Gloves of the Arctic Fell Troll. These gloves are the result of combining silk droppings with the hands of the Arctic Fell Troll you killed in the caverns beneath the Valley of the Darkseeker. These gloves provide a bonus to strength and also impart some of the regenerative properties of the... Oh, hell yeah! And cold resistance 2. Strength plus 3, regen plus 3. That's mine. I'm totally wearing that. Okay, we will pass those off to her. Yeah, she don't even need them. I do need to put her helmet back on. Oop. That's epic for me, fellas. So for those of you that don't know, my strength was already pretty low to begin with. It's not that it was an issue, because remember I have weapon finesse, which allowed me to use my dexterity, because it's better than my strength for melee combat. And for some reason, I don't have my sword on me, and I don't know why. Okay, or my dagger. And I needed that because I wanted to be able to fix my spell book, which is, of course, now I'm missing all kinds of stuff. I have teammates now, and I really need to start talking to them. What is it, Anta? What do you think is the significance of the scroll we found about the god Velshamun? Blairdig considers for a moment. In my youth, I recall the ancient shaman speaking of the gods and their intrigues. I believe one known as Velsharoon is in opposition to the god Talis. Perhaps the Darkseeker is embarking on a course which may anger Velsharoon and seeks the favor of Talis for protection. I do not know what this course may be, however. See lore check. Velsharoon is the god of licks. Perhaps the Darkseeker is expecting to battle licks in the near future. Yeah, we kind of figure that. Perhaps. It does sound logical. Did you see anything important in the Hall of the Masters? In the library, I noticed several books were open to pages concerning something called the Deep Frost. According to the books, this Deep Frost was a huge system of caverns built long ago by frost giants. Yeah, we know that too. Several of the books speculated on the location of the Deep Frost, and these passages were circled or underlined as though someone considered them important. So something's in the Deep Frost. Later, waits patiently. I have been watching you and noticed you are attuned to arcane energy more than most. How is it that you are able to feel arcane energy? You appear surprised at my ability. He arches his eyebrows in amusement. I am surprised. It is unusual for those unskilled in the art to feel the energy of the weave so easily. You are assuming I am a stranger to this power, aren't you? Secrets are not for strangers, not to Allah. There is no time to discuss this now. What about a stranger who helped you escape from a dungeon in the tower of an evil wizard? Very well, you are correct. I am in debt to you, and since we will be working together to escape this place, you should know more of me. That's right. When I was very young, only an infant, I became terribly ill. My mother feared for my life and undertook a month-long journey on foot through desert wasteland to see a powerful healer and shaman of our people. Just miles from the shaman's hut, I died. My mother laid me to rest in the arid ground of my fathers. In the night, the shaman heard the loud wailing of my grieving mother and came to her side. Taking pity on her, he dug my body from the earth and reunited it with my soul. When my mother would tell the story, she said that for months afterwards, I shone with a blue light, and my eyes turned blue and my hair white. The light faded, but my eyes and hair remained as they are to this day. Cool, man. I've always been able to sense and do things. I've always believed it was because of my death as an infant. What does it feel like to be dead? I was only an infant. I have no memory of it. Oh. 30 ways patiently. What do you think about what we found in the Hall of Training? The training for the warriors is clearly rigorous, and as far as my eyes could see, it is equally rigorous for the wizards. Yeah. I also noticed a great deal of military equipment. It looks like planning for a campaign. Against who? Is there any kingdom or city to invade here? Perhaps the 10 towns to our south, but that would be a long march. Blairdrake thinks for a moment. I do not know La'afam. Perhaps we will learn more as we continue our escape. Last thing. Blairdrake, that is a name of the northern peoples, yet you do not look like a northerner. My reputation is just getting awesome with this guy. Awesome. I see that you learned, my companion. You are correct. Blairdrake is not my birth name, but I take it now. As with all other things, names may change with time. But certainly not true names. They do not change, do they? They may. Even so, my birth name was not my true name, so it is irrelevant. When I came to this land, I became known to its inhabitants as Blairdrake the Dark Wolf in their tongue. For those who dwell in the cities and towns, it is a name of insult, born of fear and mistrust. But for those nomads who wandered the frozen north, barbarians, I believe you call them, Blairdrake looks at you pointedly for a moment, long enough to make you uncomfortable. But for those nomads who wander the frozen north, it is a name of respect and honor. Is there anything else? Nothing for now. Well, let's see if she has anything to say. Yes, what do you want? Ayala waits attentively. Tell me of your people. I am of the tribe of elk dancers, which boasts 50 seasoned warriors and is led by my father, the Raven. Lore, the Raven, isn't it a custom for shaman who lead tribes to adopt the name of an animal or beast as a title? Your father must be powerful to lead a large tribe such as the elk dancers. Your knowledge is impressive. You are correct. He is a mighty shaman, one of the greatest in the north. Under his leadership and protection, my people have survived many incursions by the southerners and the people of Sunsvinal. Sunsvinal? Yeah, I don't know either. Yes, it is a fishing village and trading post. Okay. In the past, they have sought to drive the elk dancers and some of the other peoples from the area. Fearing our might, they came against us unprovoked and unexpected. My father, the Raven, called upon his powers and held the invading force at bay until the warriors of my people gathered and drove the southerners back to the walls of their little settlement. Now the southerners huddled behind their walls and rarely venture out into the wild. What Southerners have invaded your lands? 3 winters ago, a force of Southerners from 10 towns came and attacked one of our hunting parties. They followed the survivors to our camp and changed into the midst of our dwellings, burning and killing as they came. 10 towns, boy. I don't like them already. My father called upon the powers of nature and summoned a great ice elemental that drove the Southerners back. When the warriors of our tribe, who were out on their own hunting expeditions, saw the fire, they returned in force and routed the retreating Southerners. What is your station among your people? As the daughter of the Raven, I am the princess of the Elk Dancers. Spellcraft check. But you are more than a princess. I sense power emanating from you. Ella raises her eyebrows in surprise and looks at you with increased respect. You are correct and insightful. I am a priestess of my people. My father has raised me in the knowledge of the power of tempest and of nature. Last winter I completed the trial of the bear and the test of the glacier and became a priestess of my people in full. The trial of the bear and the test of the glacier. What are those? Elle's eyes widen as she realizes she has spoken too freely. These are things sacred to my people. I cannot discuss them further. Never mind. We're good. Okay. Well, that's some good lore for us. Let's check our completed quest. Talisman the Eye. After speaking with Blair, you decide that the Dark Seeker must be expecting to do battle with Lix. Velsharoon is the god of Lix and it is said that Talos is in opposition of Velsharoon. This would explain the presence of priests of Talos in the Dark Seeker's tower. Slavers. While talking to Ayala, you learn that she was imprisoned by the Dark Seeker after being taken by slavers who she and her brothers unwittingly saved from bandits and orcs. Perhaps you will have the good fortune to cross paths with these slavers and show them the folly of their ways. Alice says that you will know the slavers by the outlandish hat the leader is wearing. Okay, we've got a golem. In Dark Seeker's personal chambers, you found a nearby or nearly completed golem and the necessary notes to complete it. All that is needed are a few reagents and the casting of a simple spell with the appropriate amount of concentration and understanding of spellcraft, and the golem will be complete. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, there's this magical thing called the interwebs, and I looked this up to find out if I can make the golem. Surely you can. It will happen later in the campaign, so don't keep trying to make it. It will present itself from what I've been told. So you'll get to a step where you'll have all the reagents or whatever, and as long as you've got all the stuff with you, the book and the golem parts, which I always keep in my pack, then you should be able to make the golem, and it will be your 4th party member, not counting your pet here. And from what I understand, it is a thief, so a rogue. Now whether it has rogue skills or just is considered a rogue for like sneak attack, I don't know, but again, making me redundant. So he's a cleric that he didn't need to be, I'm a rogue that I didn't need to be. Oops. So if I were to do it all over again, I probably would have just gone straight ass wizard. Maybe done red wizards just to do something cool with the epic cast, but I'd certainly go something like ASOC, the Arcane Scholars of Candlekeep, for the epic amount of meta magic feats that you guys get from those guys. It's huge. If you haven't gotten into meta magic feats, you really want them. Ancient artifacts. The Dark Seeker is assisting the Ascendant in searching for powerful artifacts they believe may be in the region. You have discovered the name of these artifacts: the Eye of Cabal, the Sphere of Annihilation, and Lucifer's Spine. Clearly, the Ascendant believes that one or more of these artifacts are in the local vicinity. The letter also briefly mentions a recently discovered talisman, which will apparently give the wielder control over the artifact known as the Sphere of Annihilation. Oh, what if that's the talisman we just found? And the Eye of Cabal. Dude, that would be epic. I got control of 2 of the 3 things. Maybe. Alright. That looks like they've been doing pretty good. Okay, so let's buff up. I'm going to do this off camera, and then we'll head on out and see what we can see. Matter of fact, this has actually been a long video. I know we didn't do much. Let's call it here. I'll continue. We'll make another video, of course, to separate out, to keep the sizes of these down, because we actually went through quite a bit of stuff here. But my name's Brothermutant. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. If you notice anything, by all means, correct me on it. I don't want to be giving wrong information. But I will do my best to make sure that it is clear when I do make a mistake and what fixes the mistake. But hope to see you guys soon. Bye now.